Hey everybody, Jeremy here. So today we got the McFarlane Toys Gold Label Year 2 Batman. Now this is a Target exclusive. This was first shown off last year in 2021, and Target had a big issue with pre-orders being canceled and then immediately put back up for order. And it means a lot of people, including myself, missed out on that first go around. But fortunately, recently they put it back up on Target.com. Unfortunately, it's no longer available, but it was available for nearly a week. It's January 18th right now as I record this, and it was available for nearly a week at Target.com to ship immediately. There's two different versions of this. This is the one that was that is the unautographed version. There was another version for about 80 bucks that came with Todd McFarlane's autograph on the little card, and both of those are sold out, unfortunately, at the moment. Hopefully they'll come back in some way, shape, or form in the future. But what makes this particular figure unique is that it comes in one of two different configurations. This one right here, which is more of a statue, it has this really cool swooping Batman cape that, of course, I'm going to show you out of the box in a little bit. And then you can also have it as a standard action figure with a cloth cape that comes in this box as well. And if you want to keep the diorama on there, you can do that too. As you can see, we got these couple of headstones right there. It's a graveyard, a little bit grim, but hey, that's what it is. It's Batman. So I've been waiting for this for a while, and I'm happy I got him. Let's hope that he doesn't have broken arms. So let's open up the box and take a look at him. All right, so we have got a lot of different things to go over with this figure because he comes with so many different things. And let me just say, this is definitely one of the most ambitious figures from the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line to date, as you saw in the package. Now, right out of the package, he comes with that static cape, you know, the one that makes him look more like a statue. But to start out this, I wanted to put him in regular action figure form. So we can take a closer look at the figure, then we can look at the really cool cape. So first of all, this diorama here is pretty cool. Now, it's pretty cool, but it's also quite grim because it's a graveyard and it has some headstones that are pretty familiar, I must say. We've got names on here for Jason Todd, we've got Martha Wayne, we've got Thomas Wayne, we've got Selena Kyle, Tim Drake, Barbara Gordon. They all have headstones here. It's really, really quite grim. And if we can take Batman off of this headstone for a moment, or off the base for a moment, and get a closer look at what this looks like, and you see all the names on the graves there. There are 4 pegs here for his feet, or really any other figure's feet if you want to put them in here. And then the detachable gravestone is right here. It's in there pretty good. Okay, let's leave it in there. It's in there pretty good. Really no need to actually take it out, and it does not have a name on it. Looks like there would be a name right here, but I don't know if that was supposed to signify anything. Maybe it's Batman's grave, I don't know. But anyway, it's a pretty cool base. We don't get those a whole lot with McFarlane Toys things. So this is kind of more like a Marvel Select kind of thing, because they include bases a lot of times. But anyway, let's move this to the side and let's take a closer look at this Batman. Now, I gotta tell you, there's something weird going on with this Batman here. The cape is cool, but guys, let's take a look at these feet for a second. There's something weird going on with Batman's feet, in particular, his right foot. I'm not sure if you can really tell, but the left foot is pretty straight. You know, it has like this kind of a shape to it. But for some reason, this right foot here, it's really curved. It's really curved on the left side, and it made me think like maybe he had 2 left feet. But I don't think that's the case. It just looks like there's some type of molding mistake with his foot. So it looks really, really weird. You know, it's really noticeable if you look at it with the side profile. I'm not sure if you can see that, but from the side, it looks really weird because like his toe is curling in. It's like he's pigeon-toed. And from what I can tell is because this mold on his right foot, it bulges out from the side. And this is the first time that I've seen anything like this with any McFarlane Toys figure. It was wow. And I was kind of shocked, you know, because this is the big thing. This is the premium one. This is the one that so many people wanted to get. And yet the feet are messed up. Because his feet are kind of messed up like that, it sort of affects the way that he stands. He's a little bit off balance. And to be quite honest with you, you know, it looks like both of the feet are kind of weird, but it's the right foot in particular that's just obviously weird. And then the other weird thing is with the foot, you know how you can lift it up and you can pivot it down. This is not in the center. It's really weird. It's like it's offset a little bit. I mean, you can still get the full tilt and everything, but you know, it should be, or at least I'm used to it being like right in the center of the foot, you know, but it's a little bit off to the side. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the way that he's standing or whatever, but it's really, really weird. If this Batman came alone by himself without a base and his foot was doing that, I would be pretty ticked off because it would be extremely difficult to have him stand up on his own without some type of assistance. But thankfully, since he comes with this base, it's not going to be a problem. But it's really weird looking, and I would like to hide it with the cape. All right, so I got him to stand up a little bit for now. It probably looks weird, but I wanted to show you the other accessories that he comes with, a little handheld accessory. So he has a couple of interchangeable hands here. We have a batarang holding hand, and then we have a fisted hand, and we got one of those big, thick blue batarangs. All right, so those are all of the handheld accessories that he comes with. And then just as far as the paint on this Batman, it's good. I've seen better from McFarlane Toys. Looking at this bat symbol here, it's creased in the middle. Almost like the figure's been folded up and then they unfolded him again. So there's a crease right there on the bat symbol that I'm not a huge fan of. And also the black outlining around the bat symbol where the yellow is a little bit messy. It's spilling over into the yellow, and it's not the best. It's not the best that I've seen. As far as the rest of his costume goes, that kind of classic blue and gray motif, it's fine, you know, because it's just molded plastic, so that looks fine. But as far as the finer detail on the bat symbol, definitely could have done a better job with that. Articulation for the Batman. Well, his head just came off. All right, so let's try to get that in there a little bit better. So head goes up about that far. Head goes down, head keeps coming out about that far. Let's get these arms up. I mean, it's decent articulation for Batman, you know, it's not bad articulation at all. And then we also have this rotation there at the wrist. There might be a single jointed elbow, I don't know. Anyway, he can kick about that far up. Double jointed knees, absolutely, for sure. You know, he's flexible, as Batman should be. Let's try to get him straight again. All right. Move him back pretty far, Matrix style. Bring him forward pretty good. You know, so like I said, he's flexible as a Batman should be. So if you're used to the articulation of McFarlane Toys figures at this point, then you kind of already have an idea of what you can expect. All right, so we're going to disassemble this guy. Look at some of these individual elements. His head already wants to come off, so let's start with that. Couple different pieces here. The cape is a little fabric cape. It doesn't have any wiring in it, and it just has this little opening right here that's stitched together ever so slightly. So you got to kind of be careful with this to not pull it apart. Otherwise, you're going to have to stitch it back together or sew it back together or staple it back together. And then you just kind of drape this over him like this. And then there's pegs on this top piece of the cowl that you can just put down, and then that holds it all in place. I like the cape. It's a cloth cape. What more do you want from it? It looks a little bit tattered at the ends. Maybe you can look at that as being a flaw, or maybe it's an aesthetic choice because it's Batman, so his cape isn't perfect. However you want to spin it. It's cloth cape, and those don't usually come with McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures, so there you go. Another thing that you can do with this Batman is you can take off the arms. He has interchangeable arms, and you need that in order to put on that static cape. So let's pop these arms off real quick. And let me tell you that if you have trouble getting these arms on, if they don't go in easily the first time, second time that you try it, run the peg of the arm as well as the socket in the body under some hot water and just kind of let that chill there for, I don't know, 10 seconds, maybe a little bit more, and then just keep trying. That's what I had to do to get one of the arms to fit in, and then it fit in just fine. So be careful, don't force it because you don't want to break anything. All right, so here's the other thing that he comes with. This crazy cape here. So along with the crazy cape comes this thing. I'm not going to use this. It's really fiddly. Now, the way it comes in two pieces, and I think that the way this is supposed to go is on the inside of the cape, there's a little hole that it's like you can plug this end into, and then there's little openings on the other side of this, and it looks like it can plug into the side of the cape. And the whole purpose of that is so that you can stick it down into this base, like kind of near the edge, to kind of get a cooler effect of Batman being like on the edge instead of being in the middle. It's just too fiddly for me. I think it's needlessly complicated. Of course, there's no instructions. I don't know if they want you to take this apart and then install this and then put it back together, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to try to take this apart and break a little plastic tab and then the whole thing just doesn't want to come together. I don't want to bother with it. So Batman can stand up with this cape, as I'll show you, on this base by himself. So you don't really need this. Now, how the heck do you put this thing on? Well, first, take the arms off. You don't need the arms for this. And then we'll simply put Batman through here. See what I mean when I say it's kind of fiddly? Gotta get him up there until we can see the peg hole for his head, and then just put his head on. There you go. And that's your look. Now, of course, he's falling over because his feet is doing all kinds of crazy things right now. But there's the look. Now, you can still move his head left and right, depending on which direction that you want to put him in. Oh, we can just leave him like that. And you see, that looks pretty good. And you can't necessarily see the feet in this position. You can see him a little bit, but not too much. Now, you're going to want to put him here on this stand. We'll have it this way so that this is the front. And you just got to put his feet in there. I'm not going to try to do that on camera. It gets a little bit fiddly, but well, you can just kind of try. So I got one of his feet pegged into this base, and you know, he's sturdy enough. It's a pretty cool look still either way, even though I don't have both of his feet plugged in, and it still looks cool. It still looks cool. But I do think that the point of having this is not only to make it easier for him to stand up on this thing, but also so that you can see more of these graves, because he's blocking a lot of them. In this piece right here, this is also sort of getting in the way of this big cape to make it a little bit more difficult to just put his feet in with this giant cape. But if you just had this attached, this will be the only thing that will go down into the hole, and then you would just be able to move Batman over further and he would be more like this. And so just, it's more aesthetically pleasing, especially from like a photography point of view, because he's no longer centered. He's more off to the left. He's like the rule of thirds, basically. So that wouldn't be a better look aesthetically. But you just gotta fiddle around with this thing, you know, in order to get it to stand down inside that base. But you can see, like, even just right now, I don't have them pegged in anything and it's still standing up just fine. So if you want to just kind of pretend that you don't see like a weird looking foot right there, hey man, it's still a really, really great look. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up. What do I think about this figure? It was $50. For everything that you get here, I think that 50 bucks is pretty decent. I think it's a decent price, especially when you think about competitors. Some of the larger Marvel Legends figures like that MODOK, for example, that retail for 50 bucks as well. You know, even though they did have a lot of accessories and stuff to make it more worth it. And this is kind of like in that same boat. Having the base, having this truly unique molded cape, as well as a cloth cape for different posability options in just like a regular standard figure that will be for 20 bucks anyway. Hey, I think it's good. All right, it's one of those gold labels from McFarlane Toys that some of them tend not to last for very long, and this one was pretty special because it's based off artwork from Todd McFarlane, so it has that special pedigree for it as well. So like I said, you guys, it's no longer available at Target.com, unfortunately. So if you want to pick this guy up, you're going to have to go through the secondary markets, and they're probably going to double the price on it for you. But who knows? Maybe they'll bring it back out at some point in the future. You know, McFarlane likes to re-release things, so maybe he will, maybe he won't. We will see. But I do like this figure overall. If it wasn't for this aesthetic and this cape and everything, I would be pretty ticked off because of those weird looking feet, and the paint is not so great on the bat symbol on the chest. And we've seen better figures from McFarlane, period, just as far as the detail goes. But yeah, all things considered, I think that this is good. I like it. I'm glad I bought it. I just got to find a place for it because he is going to demand about half the space on the shelf, so he's got to go in front. So that's it, you guys. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and I'll have some more McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse figures to review very soon.